Yeah, I've been to so many of these criminal hearings, and I've seen the way defendants behave. A lot of times they take notes, or they hold their head in shame, or they whisper to their attorneys. But I really saw none of that today, Ashleigh. Really, she was just emotionless. She was looking like she was listening. Of course, she was paying attention, looking straight ahead. But I didn't really see much behavior or body language other than just sitting very still and looking straight ahead. Obviously, we can see those images of her. She's not in that black and white jail uniform. She was allowed to wear professional attire, including a pantsuit and a blouse. She looked like she was well made up. She had her hair cleaned, and it looked like she was just paying attention.
Those are important things. I'll get to that in a moment. I just want to make a note that the reason that these defendants come in, sometimes in jail garb and then sometimes not in jail garb, is all about the jury. Juries aren't supposed to see defendants wearing jailhouse jumpsuits because it just makes them look guilty. So it's normal that she would come in that suit. But about the hair, this is not a flip question. To me, her hair looked long and it looked uniform, like the same color, which is important because inmates aren't allowed hair products to dye their hair. And when she, was alleged to have committed the murder, her hair looked like it did on the far left of the screen, strawberry blonde and long. Then she had these transformations. She was arrested in Costa Rica with her hair lopped off to the shoulders and dyed brown, and then you can sort of see how her nose has changed with the surgery. So her hair seems to have returned to the lighter red, and it seems to have grown about a foot. I'm just sort of curious if that was lost on anybody.
No, I don't think it was lost on anyone. So much attention has been paid to the type of moves that she made once she allegedly tried to escape, right? The plastic surgery, the hair dye, the cutting of the hair. So I think everyone was paying attention not only to how she looked, but how she behaved in the courtroom today.
Okay, talk to me about all those extra deputies. My eyes popped out when I heard the number of deputies they assigned to surround her, given the fact that she's been a runner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's probably considered a flight risk in the eyes of every single law enforcement in Austin, Texas. And so that was maybe not all that surprising to me, but of course worth noting, at least 4 or 5 sheriff's deputies escorting her into the courtroom when she first entered, and then at least 3 or 4 that are sitting around her at all times. So that was not lost on me, at least.
Wow, 4 to 5 deputies. That's like, even big burly defendants don't often get that much treatment. So I wonder if the jury was wise to that, or if it's their first rodeo, they might not have thought anything about it. But I sure thought it was nuts. Okay, so I want you to just, if you can, go over some of the evidence with me, because they sort of laid it out, like before the murder, during the murder, after the murder, and a lot of it I hadn't heard about. So walk me through it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. 3 different timestamps. Before the murder, we're looking at the fact that Armstrong was actually reading Colin Strickland's text messages. They shared technology like iPads, and so she was able to see all those conversations that Strickland was having with Mo Wilson. The fact that Armstrong was tracking Mo Wilson through this app called Strava, which is what these professional cyclists use to actually track their times and the sort of routes that they take when they go on their bicycle. And so we learned today that Armstrong was actually monitoring Strava and Wilson's usage of it, including where she was going. In fact, the day before Wilson was shot and killed, the prosecutors alleged that Armstrong looked up her whereabouts 4 separate occasions. Also, Armstrong looking up photos of the victim before that murder takes place. All right, now let's go to the day of the murder, or during the murder. Prosecutors say they have cell phone data, video surveillance of that Jeep actually being at the scene of the crime. It shows that that GPS data, that she was actually circling the crime scene for about an hour before that murder happened, and that she left 2 minutes after the gunshots. All of that backed up by video surveillance and also GPS data on that Jeep. Okay, now let's go after the murder. Apparently, Armstrong was Googling her own name. She was looking at the latest in this investigation, all while she was in Costa Rica. And that actually, when the U.S. Marshals began closing in on her and she could feel that pressure, she actually reset her phone and wiped all of the data from it. And gosh, Ashleigh, you've been covering this long enough to know that that's not a good sign for any defendant.
I was surprised to hear that they found DNA on Mo Wilson's bike, which they allege was thrown in the bushes. possibly by this defendant as well. That's a big one. Okay, real quickly, I only have 10 seconds left, but I am curious about the family of Mo Wilson being in there. Like when some of that really uncomfortable stuff was being discussed, that she was screaming while she was being murdered on the doorbell cam. What was their reaction in court?
Yeah, I got to tell you, Ashleigh, today was a very emotional day. Not only did we hear Kaitlin Cash, that's Mo Wilson's friend, actually placed that 911 call. They played that audio. But then we also had to watch 3 or 4 different body camera videos from different Austin Police Department officers, right? And that includes the officer who actually performed that CPR on Mo Wilson's lifeless body. It was really, really difficult for everyone in that courtroom to watch. Now, to your point, to your question about the family, it was almost too much. In fact, I saw Mo Wilson's father just put his head down. He actually plugged up his ears with his fingers and he refused to watch. And I asked him as he was walking out of the courthouse how he was doing and how he felt about being in that courtroom. And he just really said, I don't need to see that. I don't need to hear that. But he told me that he's going to be here every single day that this trial happens.
I always feel for the families. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.